Well, happy day to everybody. We are here for another great episode with the Philip Washington, the wonderful and most calm investor extraordinaire. Today, I have the privilege of getting to interview him this time as we talk about how to go take care of our investments as we build up our balance sheet and our personal budget. And one of the great things we don't that you may not know about Philip is he is very calm, loves yoga, meditation, and maybe a good sound bowl. So we're going to see how we can incorporate that into our talk today.
Let's get into it.
Oh, what you call it? Steve's waiting for you to say, let's get into it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's get into it. And this interview is brought to you today by Allison Rife Martin CPA, who likes to talk about sound bowls, meditation, and yoga. So this is a great interview for today.
All righty. Thanks.
So
Thanks.
what's going on, Philip?
It's a great intro. Great intro. Thank you. Thank you. I like the sound bowls, the meditation. I throw in there Muay Thai too. Because side note, like a lot of folks, they're like, Philip, I don't understand the martial arts piece though. Like that seems violent for somebody who's peaceful. And I'll be like, listen, you don't know peace until you are able to do a lot of damage and choose not to. Right? That's the truth.
That's the trick behind it. It's like just because I can doesn't mean I should or I will, you
Yes.
know? So
Yes.
so again, knowing that just because I can doesn't mean I should or I will. What should we do with respect to our balance sheet and maintaining our investments so that again we can go back to the idea of having a great big picture?
Yeah, so I like this question because we talked about layering your emergency fund bucket, having some uh, maybe some on the safer side investments to extend the emergency fund bucket where you can actually earn more. In a previous podcast episode, I talked about how I have my cash, but then I also may have like bonds and preferred stock to like have for my emergency fund, but like something that actually earns more than whatever 2-3% we earn in cash. For the longer term things, the maintenance stuff that could happen. But then we get to investments, right? And for me, uh, I am not excited about jumping straight to a 401k or a retirement plan on the investment bucket for the simple fact that I've studied rich families, wealthy families, family offices. I own a wealth management firm which serves, everyday people and funds and family offices. The structure of an RIA can do that. And I was going, well, what's the priority to me first is to build up a investment brokerage account. Think of it like a checking account, but it can invest in like basically anything. And I want to build that to a level to where I can set up a line of credit against it, to borrow money to invest, but it can be an extension of like my emergency fund, right? So my first goal was got a number in mind that I want to have access to as far as credit, right? I was talking to a group of advisors and a client, and I talked about our conversation, Allison, because they were talking about tax strategies, and I was going, listen, I tell my CPA every year, I don't really care about saving that much in taxes. I want to save in taxes, but my priority is like my flex is how big is the credit line can I get? Because that's what I've seen rich people do. They're like once I can get a big credit line, I can buy all kinds of real estate and stuff that depreciates my income, right?
Mhm.
But like my first priority is get the credit line big, which means I'm focused on the brokerage account. And then once I get that number, I think of the 401k and the IRA like I think of a trust because it technically is a trust. I'm like, this is like money that I can get to when I'm older, but it's really going to be my grandkids' money that I spoil them with because we're going to get rich along the way by borrowing money to buy real estate and stuff like that, in addition to our Bitcoin. But we
Right.
ain't going to sell that. We're going to use that to borrow against to buy the real estate.
I say sometimes people think of that as the buy, borrow, die uh, strategy. And that sounds like that's what you're putting in place too. And again, having the investment allows you to know that you could go out and get more credit to be able to, invest in more real estate. So I think that's a great one. What is your thought on, like, for business owners who obviously everybody's focused on saving taxes, but not necessarily thinking of the big picture. But when for those who want to like do the retirement pieces and they're properly leveraged with or properly set up for retirement accounts, what would you say to them? Uh, should you keep going into the tax deferred investments, knowing that it'll save you tax dough, or what would you recommend?
Yeah, so a business owner so like for a business owner in general, if you have employees, right, they're gonna want a 401k. So I think it's a smart thing to do if you have employees, set up a 401k plan. Now, whether you participate in it, that's up to you. Like me personally, I might put up to whatever the company matches to get the free money. But like beyond that, it just goes back to, do I have a big enough credit line to buy the assets that I want to buy to become financially independent? Once I have a big enough credit line and I've bought the assets, and they don't even, the renters or the person who's running the business that I bought, I can look out and say, all right, once this debt's paid off or whatever, we'll have enough money to be financially independent. Like once I'm there, then I'll start tucking away money into 401k. And it's just a mind change. Because for me, just this is me personally, but I think, and maybe because I understand the history of 401ks, right? They were the IRAs and set up 401ks were set up after we came off the gold standard, and we needed a way to make the stock market money, the U.S. stock market money. So they were like, it's kind of like the Trump accounts, right? They're like, oh man, stocks are overvalued. How do we artificially keep the value of stocks up? We create Trump accounts, and then we tokenize everything onto real world assets, and then we go sell those to the world, right? That normally couldn't get them. That increases liquidity, but it may not be like, you know what I'm saying? Like it may not be the best thing for you to do. So I go, there's things that the system wants you to do, and there's things that are right for you. And for me, I'm like, what's right for me is to have as much money that I can borrow against to buy the assets that I want, right? And so that's like I didn't make that up. I watch rich people. I'm like, oh, this is what they do. They don't,
Right.
they don't stuff money into a 401k.
So let's say I was a new client coming to meet with you, and I'm telling you that my goal is to have a bunch of real estate later in life. And, but I also have employees, and I want to take care of them and while minimizing my tax at the same time. What would your first question for me be? And what would the first steps you would want me to address?
I would say how important is, I'm going to ask the question knowing the answer, but how important is it for you to attract the best talent for your business? And they're going to say, very important.
Very.
Yeah. And I'm going to say, cool, like get a 401k, right? Because all of your employees are not going to be able to have this conversation with me, and they're going to come in with their own biases. And over time, right, we can go to lunch and you can talk to them about what you do. But I'm saying off back, get a 401k, because they're going to want it, and they're going to benchmark you against other employers that have one, and you're just not going to be a real business if you don't have a 401k, if you want like the best and the brightest. So like get a 401k, right? After you tell me it's important to get the best and the brightest, right? I know you're going to say that. And then, right, but then it goes back to what I was saying before, like now what you do and how, you know what I'm saying, like how you do your thing is good. And I also think like I have clients that manage 401ks, and they'll bring me in to do money talks that's separate and above the 401k. And I'll talk about this stuff, and the employees find it valuable because they go, wait a minute, like what you're saying makes so much sense. And nobody ever explained it this way. Right. And so it's another value add. Even when you have the employee that has a 401k, I guess specifically for me, because I come in and I talk to them about like same stuff I talk to the owner about. Hey, do this up to the match, do more if you want. But if you like the job, but you want to have passive income outside the job, like you can only borrow up to $50,000 from your 401k plan, right? which is good. Like that's a good amount of money. Like make that part of the plan and do it. But I think everybody here wants to be able to like retire before 59 and a half. You know?
Oh no, I want to work all the way till I'm 100.
Yeah. I want to not access all of my money until I'm
Yeah,
60. That just sounds
exactly.
crazy.
Oh my gosh. Well, I think that'd be a great starting point when we meet with prospects, because again, you got to sit there and think, what's the goal? And I like how you start with what's the most important thing for your employees, taking care of them, you
Hmm.
know? So I love this. So is there anything else that you would think that I should have asked in my meeting that I didn't think to ask with things like that?
No, I think from an investment standpoint, I'll say when it comes to like what you put in your investment bucket, I like to just keep that simple because because investment returns over the long term. If you have a decade time period, it's very easy to um, have a good estimation and build a good investment plan on a 10-year time period. Anything less than that, you got to deal with volatility. But over a 10-year time period, then it boils down to like how much energy do you want to harvest? Like Bitcoin is a money network growing at 40-50% a year. You can do some nerd math called power law math to see what the value of Bitcoin is going to be in a decade, and then you'll be like, man, that's like a really good target. I got to deal with a lot of this, but I want X percentage of my money in Bitcoin because it has the biggest energy and the biggest potential return, right? Then you go to the U.S. stock market, right? Then you go to bonds and preferred stock, but you can layer. I think I had a friend tell me, Philip, it must be a good advisor for you to like not be accountable to like returns. And I'd be like, bro, I'm not a magician. I don't trade my way into returns. You get what I'm saying? I
Right.
said, what's the client's goal? What is their tolerance for volatility, right? And then I can just say, like an insurance actuary, like here's how you should underwrite risk, right? And if you do it this way, there's a very high degree of certainty you're going to meet this minimum return. Said a different way, like what I know in my heart, right, is in a
Right.
decade, Bitcoin is going to return more than like Apple, right? If the Bitcoin doesn't go away, like it goes to zero or it returns to Apple, but it's probably not going to zero at this point, right? And
Right.
Apple's going to return more than U.S. Treasury bills, right? Like I know that over a decade. I don't know it for next year. I don't know it for 3 years. I don't know it for 5 years. I know in a decade that's going to be the case based on the risk profile. So like we can start there and then rotate, put money in based on that. I think that's like the foundation of it.
I think I like that. And I think it's great that you are open-minded enough to like start asking me good questions to help guide me in the right direction too. So anyway, well, this was a great episode. Um, Let everybody how they can find me if you want.
You can find Allison at rifemartincpa.com, or just step outside and do one of them sound bowls, and
Yeah,
she'll
exactly.
magically appear in
Or
your.
she'll be asleep because the music will make her fall magically asleep. Oh my God. Well, thank you for a great episode. Thank you for letting me be the interviewer for today. I really had fun with this one. So thank you very much.
Thank you for interviewing. Appreciate you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Philip Washington Jr. is a registered investment advisor. Information presented is for educational purposes only and does not intend to make an offer or solicitation for the sale or purchase of any specific securities, investments, or investment strategies. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Be sure to first consult with a qualified financial advisor and/or tax professional before implementing any strategy discussed herein. Past performance is not indicative of future performance.